Hey guys, this is Alex again for a and today I'm going to show you some After Effects camera tracker stuff that I worked on during beta testing. So let's jump right into the final shot. So that is what we are going to create during this tutorial. We're going to track the scene in After Effects using the camera tracker plugin by the Foundry. And after that we're going to export this tracking data to Cinema 4D and get this great domino particle simulation going on. So let's just start out with tracking the shot. So this is the final comp, but I just want to start off right from the start. So I just drag my backplate here and drag it into new comp. So as you can see, I shot this plate with a Canon 6CD and an aspect ratio of 16:9. I just cropped it later on for a more pleasing image. Okay, so right off I just hit Effect, the Foundry camera tracker, and the camera tracker pops up. So I'm just going to lead you right through the main setup steps to get this shot tracking and some general workflow tips for using this plugin. So at first I want to recommend you, while tracking, to either turn off render during analysis. So this deactivation will show you nothing on screen as the program is analyzing the shot, but it won't stop when your autosave will come into play. If you leave this button on, you should check in your preferences and make sure that you shut off your autosave for tracking, and pretty sure activate it again after the tracking is done. So I just leave that off, as I like to see my features on screen right there. Okay, so we don't need any mats, as solid mats for this shot, as we're going to delete those few points that appear on here by hand, as it's not the big problem. We just hit preview features so that we can see where the program is going to start off with tracking our features, and in most cases I tend to increase the number of features in the shot a little more, to around 215, so I can later on delete some points and still get a pretty good track. With the detection threshold, you can just slightly have a control over where this tracks might be placed, as well as feature separation is going to, if we increase that, the distance between two tracking points is going to be increased as well, and in some cases you might get a much more average tracking for your scene, but as we got many planes in here, as the wall in here and my furniture's in here and the desk, that's not that much of a problem, so I leave that at default in here. We have a free camera for sure, as I shot this clip handheld, so I just hit track features and we'll come back to you in a few minutes. Alright, before I just leave you, I just want to mention this part here. It's all about lens distortion. If you shot with wide angle lenses, especially, you might get some trouble solving a shot, because you probably might know about lenses distorting the image if you're using wide lenses. So I shot this on a 50mm lens on a 60D crop sensor, so it's around 80mm lens, so we are quite flat with our image. So I just tried it, and I can tell you that lens distortion isn't much of an effort in or an issue in this shot, so I just left that alone and just go and hit drag features. So see you once the drag is done. Alright, so all my points are now dragged, as you can see here in the scene, and that looks pretty good. We got lots of features, some useless here in the blacks, as well as some here on our disk surface, so we need to clean that up later on, but most of that will be solved right within the plugin as we adjust our values. Alright, so once you drag this camera tracker plugin onto your footage, you might see that this camera tracker menu is embedded in here in the viewer, and you can access that by command clicking on the Mac, and that gives you some more options which we will use later on to get this shot going. Okay, so once we got this shot tracked, next step is to solve the camera. So I just hit solve, and let's see what the program comes up with. Okay, so right after solving, we get this prompt up here, which says that first, yeah, we're glad shot got solved, and our reference frame is 143, which says that on our reference frame, that's exactly the frame where our camera hits the origin of our 3D scene, and this RMS projection error is how much the 3D projected points slide from the original drag 2D points. So we got a value of around 1.91 pixels, so that's quite a lot. So we might need to work a little on that to refine it and get a value around, let's say, under 1 pixel. That's not the best solution you could get. I tend to solve my shots under 0.5, so that I really got way under half a pixel of sliding to get a rock solid track. So we just go on and refine this. Alright, so now as you can see, our orange not solved tracks now got color coded as green being good tracks and red being very very bad tracks. There might be some orange tracks that are right in the middle, but as for now we are going to hit our refine tab, which will guide us to a much better solve. So I just hit delete rejected, so I get rid of all rejected tracks as well as delete the unsolved. So you can see that all our red tracks have been gone as they didn't get solved at all, as they were too bad to play in the game for trying this shot. Alright, so over here we now can see that we got some keyframe values. If we hit U on our keyboard, we can see that we got per frame keyframes for each of those values. And the most interesting for us to refine these shots is the per frame error maximum and the per track error maximum, which you can see is at, if we look at it in our graph view, we got some pretty high error values here with 32, and we got really small with 5.78. So if we go in here with our keyframe selected and we just decrease this value, and now you can see that in the graph editor there comes a threshold line, and we are just going to decrease this value way down to let's say we want our maximum of the solve of the frame error maximum to be 10 pixels. So we just hit that, and then we just hit delete reject again, and as you can see there were some points that disappeared, and we hit delete unsolved as well, just to make sure that we just keep the tracks that are pretty good for our solve. Okay, so we just decreased our maximum error from 32 units to 10 at max. So just let's hit solve again. Alright, so we got our error down by 0.2. That's okay, but that's not enough. So let's just drag that value down again to, let's say, 7.5. Oh, sorry, 7.5. Okay, and as you can see, we got more and more red tracks that are not good enough for us. So just hit delete rejected and delete unsolved again, and just hit solve camera. Okay, so way to go. Each time we solve, we see that we get our value more to a range that we could live with. So just let's go on with this. I'm going to a value of 5. So let's try that out. if you are concerned about losing too many tracks, just keep on scrubbing through the scene and make sure that you got a few tracking markers left in each frame. Okay, so hit delete rejected and delete unsolved, and just let's track again. Sorry, solve again. We just tracked it. Okay, before we go on, okay, we got to 1.43. That's almost where we want it to be, but we're still pretty lucky with having that many good tracks, so we might keep on going pretty good. Okay, before I go on with using this threshold value again, I just want to mention some general tips for working with After Effects Camera Tracker. If you command click on the viewer anywhere you want, this camera tracker menu pops up, and for cleaning up your tracks, you might find those commands and shortcuts pretty handy. So it's Q, W, and E, and with this you can just toggle through your tracks in a frame and just delete those that are really bad for us. So Q is cycling the per track error selection, and W is the per frame error, which we just load in here with our threshold bar. So I might just go on with that. So let's see where that brings us. Okay, so this is the worst in this image. By hitting just W one time, I just got in here, and it's at 0.9, so we're pretty fine with that. Per frame is 0.5, and if we just toggle through, we see that we are just under 1 with the per frame error. So we see per track error is 1.3 in here, so I just delete that, hit W, and there you can see that we get the per frame error of 4.31, so I just hit delete and go on with the next, hitting W. It's 3.9, so we just hit delete, and you get the point. Just toggling through every value and showing you the track with the maximum error that you can get in this frame. So it keeps the better tracks for the last things you could go with. Okay, so I just want to switch over to another frame, hitting just in the viewer, hitting W, and we got 4.75. Okay, so I think you got the point. So I just go on by decreasing our line to 4.5 and just hit delete rejected and delete unsolved, and solve the shot again. And let's see where we can come up with. Okay, we're almost there, only 0.29 pixels left to reduce. So I don't want to waste your time, so I'll just reduce the error value and come back to you when it's done. So I just came up with a value of 1.054 pixels, sorry. In the final shot, I think I got that value down to 0.65 or something, but I just don't want to bother you furthermore. Just feel free to get your value as low as possible. Don't forget to save your project from time to time after solving or before solving again, just in case you get an error or something like that, so that you're able to jump back to the latest version, don't losing that much time. Okay, after we solved the shot successfully, as we did now with a value of 0.1, which is acceptable, we just hit create scene, and now After Effects is going to create a scene for us. So as you can see here, we just get our parent null, which the camera that got created is parent to, so that's our master null. Okay, if we just here Command Shift Y, it brings up our camera panel, so you can see all our lens data in here. So we got that in there, and if we just go to a custom view and just hit in the viewer, okay, sorry, with activated camera tracker, we hit tab in here. We now can have a brief overview of our tracked scenes. So let me just show you this. So each pixel that you can see here is a track point from our scene. So this box in here is the camera, as you all know. And if we just zoom in here a little bit, you can now see what the scene looked like. So so we got our keyboard in here, pretty, you can see that pretty good, and we got our display in here, as well as we got our bright lamp in here and the desk over here. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good scene layout that we got here. Only thing that you might see is that our desk that was quite flat is a little rotated in here, so we might adjust our ground plane for further work with. So we are going to adjust that. Just go back in our 2D view. So we are back in here. And as for our ground plane, we can mark some trackers that are pretty obvious on our plane in here. And then we go to our menu and go to ground plane, set to selected. or you can use the shortcut A. If you select 3 points and go to set the ground plane, After Effects Camera Tracker will do an exact match of those 3 points. If you, as we did it now, select more than 3, it will orientate the ground plane as a best match effort to those selected points. So I'm going to set that to selected. Now you can see that our trackers are marked with this shiny dot, so that we can see that we selected the ground plane to be on this plane. So I'm going to jump back to our 3D view, go to our custom camera view, and now you should be able to I think that wasn't that good. So I selected those planes, those tracks that seem to be on our desk, but they are obviously not. So just switch back to our scene, and then I'm going to reset my ground plane, reset. Okay, so now I just selected one track point or one 3D point at the border of my tablet, and one at the corner of my desk, and one right behind at the lamp. And now, as you can see, our camera is looking way more as the film shot looks like. It's shot from around 1 meter and 80 centimeter, right from my hands, right handheld, and we're pointing down towards my desk. And now you can see that all those tracking points are right at the plane surface of my desk, as well as my slightly rotated keyboard buttons. So I think we are pretty fine with this scene. Orientation looks good now, so let's move on. We are just getting right back into our active camera and toggling back to our 2D view. So what I tend to do now is I just create a bunch of null objects that will help us to orientate in the 3D scene later on. So I just mark this corner, for example, and by choosing create, by hitting D, we are just going to create a null object at this point. So I just hit that, and as you can see, we now just created a null object that right fits through this corner. Okay, so just let's create a few more of this just to get an idea of where objects are sitting. Make sure that you just keep naming those null objects so that you can identify them in the 3D app later on. Corner desk. Right, so let's move on. This is my micro. And So we are pretty sure that all those track points right here are sitting on the right or on the same plane. So I just go and select them, and we're just not able to create some knots. We are also able to create some planes, so I just want to mention that as well. So by hitting S, we are creating a solid in there, and this solid tends to fit right into our scene. So we just need some slight adjustment to it. So maybe we, oh, sorry. So we might rotate that around a bit, like so. And we are going to reduce the X value and slide it around a bit, so it's just fitting my inside of the screen. And as you can see now, that perfectly matches up with our shot. Okay, great. So feel free to add some helpers in here as well. Just for summarizing some of those things, if you select 3 tracking points and create null, it will, as well as in the approach of aligning our ground plane, it will do an exact match. If you choose, for example, in this case, as we just placed it on the screen, if you have thousands of tracks and hit solid, it will create a solid with the best match approach. So 3 points will be an exact match, and more than 3 will be a best match. Okay, so let's move on with how to export this data for use in After Effects or in Cinema. For this, I use a free plugin that I found on the internet, and I will attach the download link to this project. I have to search for it. So that was created by a pretty talented guy, and it's named PTAE2 Cinema 4D. It's a little exporter that exports in text file so that you can read that in later in Cinema. Okay, so one of the issues that you have to be aware of is that this plugin doesn't export parented layers, so we just have to unparent that from our master null. In these cases, I tend to duplicate my my comp just to make sure that nothing gets broken or something like that. I just name that export. Just go into that comp and select all my nulls, camera, and solids that I want to export, and hit none. So we unparented that. So you see everything fits into place pretty good. So we are ready to go. Alright, so you just mark everything you want to export to Cinema 4D in your comp, and then just go to the script, hit the script, and then it just asks for a place to save that. I just go to my project folder and hit save. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We are ready for bringing that drag shot into cinema, and I'll come back to you in the second part of this tutorial and show you how to import data and get our 3D scene set up. Alright, see you soon.